Shalom, shalom, HaYawam Tawab, Anakna Waha Ibar Sha'ala Hawalakim La'atam, Call Shabawai Baharacha Wa Kakshaw, Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Ma'amath. Hey, we the Hebrew Israelites coming to you week in and week out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shah to preach to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indian Haitians, Israelite foreigners. Nacham Atam Kaya Hamalak Wath Hashemayim Korah, repent ye, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Call Halayim La, Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shah, Bahasham Racha HaKodash, Wa Mashana, Kabadim Zukwayim Nawa, Wa Mala'akam Shoy Shala Zukwayim Racha Gadawa, Wa Chasa, Wa Shalawam, Wa Barakim, Laha Bachayim, Shohaka Shah Shalawam. Alright, so all praise to the Most High Yahweh, which means He exists. Bahasham, in the name Yahweh Shah, He delivers. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Israel, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and mercy, peace, and blessings to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom, which means peace. So today I wanted to go into another HaDabar show HaYawam, a word of the day, which is going to be a brief, some brief information on the term Qatar, which is also a country or a city-state, not a city-state, but it's like a state country. All right, but it's going to be a part one. I'm also going to do a second video on this, on how it affects like the economy and things like that. But pretty much this video is going to go into the word because it comes from the Hebrew word incense. All right, but this is the etymology of the word Qatar. It says peninsula state in the Persian Gulf, probably from Arabic Qatran tar resin, in reference to petroleum. The Romans knew it as Qatar, related to Qatar I. And it says probably Mayan Yashima Allah, which is from Arabic. All right. Kaya tar or resin, because of the tar and the resin. So pretty much that's what it's going into. All right. Which this is true because it derives from the Hebrew word for incense. All right. Now let's prove that. This is the word Qatar. It says a primitive root identical with Qatar through the idea of fumigation in a closed place and perhaps thus driving out the occupants. I'm going to get this real fast. I'm going to go back. It says to sacrifice, burn incense, burn sacrifices, make sacrifices smoke, to make sacrifices smoke, to sacrifice, to smoke a sacrifice, to make sacrifices smoke, to cause incense to smoke, offer incense, to make open, to make smoke upon, to be made smoke, incense. All right, and let's go into this. It says to offer. Let me go back. Get that word for incense. HaDabar Qatar. The root word is Qatar. It says to smoke, i.e. turn into fragrance by fire, pretty much going into incense, especially as an act of worship. Burn incense, sacrifice upon altar for incense, kindle, offer incense, a sacrifice. It says offer odors to burn incense in honor of a deity. All right, which is getting into incense. All right. But modern day, they got this term from the idea of burning, because when you burn the incense, going back to the this root word, when you burn the incense, it gives off a smoke. All right, and it gives off a sweet smell, but then it also burns. All right. But the reason why they chose this particular name, or the reason why the particular name is fitting to Qatar, is because it's from the idea of burning. But what do they have in Qatar? It says in reference to petroleum. Now it says etymology, Qatar travel. It says the name Qatar may derive from the same Yashima Allah root, which is Sharash, which is Qatara, which means to exude. The word Qatara traces to the Arabic qatran, meaning tar or resin, which relates to the country's rich resources in petroleum and natural gas. It says other sources say that the name may derive from Qatar, believed to refer to Qatari town of Zabara, an important trading port and town in the region in ancient times. The word Qatar first appeared on Ptolemy's map on the Arabian Peninsula. All right, when you speak on like gases and oils, those are things that you burn. All right, and what is Qatar rich with? It's rich with petroleum and natural gas. This is it says it's Google search is Qatar rich with petroleum. It says crude oil production is at approximately 1,300,000 barrels per day, making Qatar one of the top oil exporting countries and one of the world's major fertilizer producers. So pretty much that's something that you burn. You burn oil, you burn crude oil, you burn gas. Those are things that give off odors. Pretty much getting the name for Qatar, the country state, pretty much deriving from the Hebrew word ba'arith for incense. It says the exploration. It says what is Qatar rich in? The exploration of oil and gas fields began in 1939. It says in 1937, oil productions and revenues increased dramatically, moving Qatar out of the ranks of the world's poorest country and providing it with one of the highest per capita incomes in the world. So pretty much they have a lot of that land over there has like a lot of oil and gas. All right, and with that, that ties into that plays into Esau's favor, so to speak. All right, so let's get some precepts. This is Habakkuk, also Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 5. And this is why this man has embassies, bases, and corporations and stuff like that in these different lands, because these different lands have they play into Esau's blessing, the abundance and the fatness of the earth. All right, it says, this is Habakkuk 2 and 5. It says, yet also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is his death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Now, when you go into an embassy, it says the official residence or offices of an ambassador, says a consulate, or it says a deputation or mission sent by one ruler or state to another. It says, what does the embassy do? It says the primary purpose of an embassy is to assist American citizens who travel to or live in the host country, these different countries, i.e. Qatar. U.S. Foreign Service officers also carry out duties related to advancing U.S. interests abroad. All right, and what does this entail of? This entails of spreading that westernization, making sure that that wine, you see that the ways of Babylon is being pushed forth in a manner that Esau would approve of. You see, that's why you see the bases, the embassies, the corporations, your McDonald's and businesses like Walmarts and stuff like that in these other countries. All right. Let's get the word for garrison. It says a military post, a permanent military installation, troops stationed at a garrison. All right, so if you look at where it says Doha, Esau has a base over there, and as you can see, this is like a main area, because everywhere else is like desert. All right, and it has it has the roads and stuff all leading to Doha, which is where it has a international airport, and looking it up, it had a base over there or an embassy. All right, so this man spreads his philosophy. All right, going back to where it says, yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine. All right, going into his doctrines, his laws, his policies, his way of life. It says he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. All right, he don't keep at home. This man has embassies everywhere, all the way to Qatar, everywhere. It says who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is his death and cannot be satisfied. That's why you see him putting forth. This man has the world under his palm. You see, that's why you see him signing stuff into legislation and justify himself to go into these different countries and saying, oh, they got weapons of mass destruction, or we need to help these people out. They really need help, blah, 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 and what have you. You see, continuing on, it says, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. All right, moving on. Let's get the HaYawam, Psalms chapter 37 and verse 35. It reads, it says, I have seen the wicked in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree. All right, that's why you see his philosophies everywhere. That's why you see the bases, the garrisons, the embassies, the corporations, people taking on the lifestyle of America, Babylon the Great, in these countries overseas, you know. All right, moving on. Let's get Bara'ashi at the Genesis chapter 27. And we can get verse 39. It says, and Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. Mashamanya ha'aratazah, which is the fatness of the earth. The shaman goes into fatness, which is abundance. Let's get a precept on that. This is the HaYawam, also Psalms chapter 73 and verse 5. It says, they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. All right, they have the world in their hands. They can do what they want. This is their kingdom. This is therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain. Violence covered them as a garment. And so pretty much, this man is super prideful. You see, he was made to be that way. It says violence covered them as a garment. You know, they live in violence. That's how they obtain the different lands and stuff that they have, through violence. Going back to the Genesis, the 27th chapter, because they live by the sword. All right, it says their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than the heart could wish. All right, and when you go into fatness, it says halab, which is, it says fatness, choices, best part, abundance of products of the land. So they got the whole world in their grips, and at the same time they got the different embassies, you know. And Esau is reaping off the benefits of having these different embassies in these different lands, because you know, it plays into his blessing of the fatness of the earth. You know, so he has embassies in places like Qatar with all that oil. He has embassies and bases in these different parts of the world where the best things is. You see, let's go back to that Genesis. This is Bara'ashi, Genesis chapter 27 and verse 40. It says, and by thy sword thou shalt live. All right, violence compasseth them about, roughly paraphrasing. They live by the sword. It says, and shalt serve thy brother, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Yaquab because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will slay my brother Yaquab. All right, so he's playing out his blessing. You see, he has the abundance going into the bases, and how he has the whole world in his grips. He has the oil, the resources. You see? It says, I'm going to read it back. It says, and Esau hated Yaquab because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will slay my brother Yaquab. All right, so he's slaying Hashanya, Ishara, Shabbatya, the 12 tribes. All right, you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, Israelite foreigners. All right, he's playing out his role in prophecy. You see, he's making full use of that blessing. He's being the best devil, you know. Again, going into how he has the abundance. He's using places like Qatar, you know, all the resources. He's using violence, and he's slaying his brother Jacob. You see, but he's not going to get to the elect. All right, so HaDabar Matazah. Zabanayapa, Lord's word, that was a beautiful edification through the spirit. Isle Qatar, on Qatar, the country. All right, and then going into the HaDabar, the Hebrew word, Qatar, which is incense. All right, and something burned for sacrifices, more specifically. But HaDabar Matazah, again, Zabanayapa, Lord's word, that was a beautiful edification through the spirit. While HaDabar Matazah, Atham Yashalayala, or Yash, HaYawam Tawad. Lord's will, you all have a good day. Hey, Shalom.